Yes, hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, friends. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. Now, my main rig is broken. But I can still film on my camera, and although I can't edit at the moment, I will be able to upload this, and I do have reference the stuff I want to talk about. So the show goes on, ladies and gentlemen. Though it does feel weird, I do not have overlays, I do not have transitions, I don't have the big mic in front of my face. I feel a bit sort of like vulnerable and sensitive, but at the same time free. Like maybe I can express myself more with my arms, or do some sensual dancing. We'll see how we get on. So anyway, welcome back. Today we're discussing where we're at. Pulisic is going to Milan. Here we go! As Fabrizio Romano said. Probably shouldn't have done the accent. Anyway. 17 million quid. It's alright considering he's got 1 year left on his deal. Originally it was 12 million euros, I believe. We can talk about that a little bit. Andre Santos, there was some news coming out that he was wanted by Barcelona, which gave me the spookies. We'll talk about that as well. Apparently Tottenham want Conor Gallagher. Matt Law's written about what Pochettino said for Harry Kane, potential Chelsea striker. Ooh la la, lots to get into. I thank you for joining me. I'd urge you to drop a like if you want to support the content. And you are, of course, as always, welcome to subscribe, and should you choose to do so, I recommend you hit the bell notifications icon. Yes! So, let's start off with Christian Pulisic. We've got the here we go from Big Fab Rom. We knew this was probably going to happen. Originally we thought, oh, he's being sold to Lyon for more money with a really handsome sell-on clause, but Lyon couldn't buy, the player didn't want to go there, so ultimately, no deal. Alas, he's got his move to Milan. His preference to move to Milan for a package worth 17 million quid, which is about 20 million euro, which considering he's got 1 year left on his deal, he hasn't set the world alight at Chelsea and hasn't really scored that many goals and had a lot of injury records. And he's on a high wage packet. I think we'd all pretty much rip your hand off for that, considering... Now, of course, this could prove to be excellent business still for Milan. He is a talented player. He's an iconic player for American football, for American soccer, rather, should I say. And, he's young still, there's room for development, and he's devastating on the transition. He's just a great player to have, I think, if you can make it work. We're alleviating ourselves of, I don't know, what's he going to be on? Best part of 200k a week? One would have to assume. So that off the books, and then we can continue with our new wage structure. Bringing in best part of 20 million quid, lovely jubbly. And of course, alleviating ourselves, well not alleviating ourselves, he vacates the number 10 shirt, which makes you think, ooh, Nkunku? I reckon it will be. Although... yeah, I mean, at the moment, we've got the number 10 shirt free, we've got the number 11 shirt free, we've got the number 7 shirt free, and one would have to assume soon to have the number 9 shirt free if Romelu Lukaku gets his move. They are like the four most iconic shirts. All available at Chelsea. If that doesn't demonstrate how we are in transition and a rebuild, nothing will. So we salute Christian Pulisic. It's an interesting move. I should just see the screen of my camera there. It's an interesting move. I feel like many of us will be very interested in watching AC Milan, or should I say a Chelsea Milan at the moment, with Giroud still there, of course, our boys Fikayo Tomori and Ruben Loftus-Cheek from the academy, and now Christian Pulisic. They could all be playing together. 4 recently, Chelsea players playing in the Milan team that are quite cool, and it's an iconic team. Milan, great kits, great culture. Now an excellent team, recent winners. I think there's like an allure there to watch them. I'm actually quite keen. They've done us a lot of favours. Apparently the excellent relationship between Chelsea and Milan proved important to get this deal over the line. And we've just sold them so many players, so you can understand why we've got a good relationship with them. And so Di Marzio explained 17 million. We've got the here we go from Fab Romano. All looking good, another one out the door. So of course Andre Santos was a big one. There was different talks coming out about him lately. I wonder why all at once. At first we were going to loan him to Porto, or Porto want him on loan. And I went, oh, that sucks. I want to see him play for Chelsea. There was a small part of me, maybe like 30% of me, that thought it would be a really good loan. He's not going from just South American, being a South American league as a teenager to the Premier League. It seems like quite a big step. But the Portuguese league is quite strong. It's just probably the 6th strongest league in Europe. And of course he could speak the language there, Portuguese being Brazilian, and he can have more time to learn English. But just because Porto wanted him, Conceição wanted him, doesn't necessarily mean it was going to happen. Chelsea didn't say, yeah, we're going to loan him, we're just aware of the interest. But a chap called, I forget his name, I can't see it here, but he, as a journalist, suggesting Barcelona are looking to buy him, which is crazy. We had him for 6 months, he hasn't even played for us yet. It's even crazier than the Enzo deal, who had played for Benfica for 6 months before we spent silly money on him. I did worry, because I thought, oh god, Chelsea have bought us, really top talent here. He's captained Brazil to the under-20 South American Championships. He's got the senior Brazil call-up. He's being recognised as like a superstar. Real Madrid are buying all these young, super talented midfielders. Barcelona, probably want to catch up a little bit. And suddenly it was like, yeah, we want Andre Santos from Chelsea. I was concerned because I thought our ownership was going to smell a bargain and be like, free money! We doubled our money in no time at all. But fortunately, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that we are not negotiating with any other clubs for Andre Santos, and how our directors in Lawrence and Paul Winstanley see him as the future, which is a big sigh of relief. I would be so angry if we had sold him to Barcelona, to be honest. Personally, I would be really, really angry. I'd be slightly disappointed, but kind of understand had we loaned him to Porto. But I'm delighted to hear we see him as the future and think he's good to go now. So hopefully Mauricio Pochettino just wants to work with him and goes, hell yeah, Andre Santos. And it's not like we're flush for midfielders, especially the fact that Tottenham, Alistair Gold reports that Tottenham like Conor Gallagher. Now Conor Gallagher is a weird one. He's seemingly always been on the always been in the shop window, because he represents pure profit yet again, and would be a lot of money. He'd be a lot of money. Chelsea would sell him for, we'd have to say 40 million plus, 40 million pounds plus, which is a lot of money for an academy player. Of course, we just sold Mason Mount for 60, which is a lot of money. But yeah, so Conor Gallagher for 40 million plus is always going to be alluring to the Chelsea ownership. But we have got no midfielders. At the moment, we've got Enzo. Enzo and Andre Santos and Cassidy, and one would assume Cassidy goes on a decent Premier League loan. That's what's been rumoured, but he's like more of a attacking midfielder anyway. Certainly likes to get goals. Of course, we've got Carney Chukwuemeka as well, but I think Carney's more of a cam, likes to be in there front four, I suppose you'd have to say. So we are, and even Gallagher you'd say that as well. So we are short on conventional midfielders. Would we sell Conor Gallagher to Tottenham? Well, he seems like such the quintessential Pochettino player. He gets stuck in, high press, covering a lot of ground, a lot of running. He is good, he's got a goal in him, you've got to say there's scope for improvement. And he loves Chelsea, which is a commodity that is becoming more and more rare in this Chelsea squad. Yes, I saw the video of Tony Mount and Mason Mount at Man United going, we're home, who'd have thought, when I took you up here as a kid, we've done it, like we've made it, our target destination, Man United. For me, all the sentiment has now dissolved from Mason Mount and Chelsea, which is a shame really. I'm very thankful for his work, of course, in the same way I'm very thankful of Kai Havertz's work. But in terms of, the emotional connectivity I knew he wasn't a Chelsea fan, he's a Portsmouth fan, but in terms of academy emotional connectivity, I have a great fondness for Ruben Loftus-Cheek at the moment, and certainly, Reece James seems to be top of the table for, Chelsea boys, as it were. Anyway, would we sell Conor Gallagher? We don't know, possibly. I mean, we're doing crazy business at the moment. It would offer us an opportunity to sign a new player and amortise their value over 5 years now, if the UEFA rule change is indeed happening, and then immediately go bam, 50 million quid or whatever in the bank from Conor Gallagher. That is so alluring to these clubs because they can spend more than the money they sell Gallagher for and feel like they get a better option in midfield. Speaking of midfield, of course, Moises Caicedo. Chelsea are working very, very hard. That's the only thing to be said in the background. That's what all reputable journalists are saying. Romano is saying, look, they want to get this done. They see this as a priority, an important thing to do. They need him. They want to put him next to Enzo. He's next, essentially, and they don't want to rush it. It's there isn't, an understanding and a willingness to buy and sell with both clubs. The player, of course, wants it. So you think the rest is academic, but Brighton are tough negotiators. Chelsea, I think, would probably pay their amount, but as always, it's payment structure that does it. Brighton want money soon. Chelsea want to pay it probably over a very long time, like they do with Enzo. So we'll have to see what happens there. Of course, if there is any updates regarding Caicedo, I will give them to you. Just make sure you turn the bell on when you subscribe to this channel. But let's speak about Matt Law's article now on Harry Kane. Of course, I believe this was like the dailies or whatever after when he spoke to the press, and we reacted to that press conference yesterday. A really, really encouraging press conference, by the way. If you haven't seen my response to that, I did a video afterwards. It hasn't got that many views, which frustrated me because I really got excited and wanted to express my opinion on what he said in that press conference. So do feel free to go watch that video. But let's read what Matt writes here on the Telegraph. So Pochettino described his relationship with Harry Kane as, quote, amazing. But he stopped short of confirming whether he will attempt to reunite with the striker at Chelsea. Now, of course, we know Chelsea, increasingly journalists and people with inside knowledge or in the nose are saying, yes, Chelsea will go big on a striker. And if they keep selling more and more and more players, they will have money to spend on a striker. And if they can do something with Romelu Lukaku, the final, final straw, if you will, that will be like, right, we've alleviated ourselves of insane wages. We've got a decent, some money back for Lukaku. It won't be decent contextually, but there'll be like an added chunk to this recently generated transfer kitting. Yeah, now we can get a big top tier striker, whether it's Vlahovic, whether it's, Lautaro, or indeed Harry Kane. So Bayern Munich want to sign Harry Kane, Tommy Tuchel, this summer, and the striker has shown no interest in signing a new Tottenham contract, which has only got 1 year left on his deal. Now, Daniel Levy is a stubborn man. They haven't, qualified for the Champions League. They don't have all these assets to sell like Chelsea do. Is his resolve going to, Kane, I think, has put a transfer request before, but just gets waved away. Also, Ange Postecoglou, a lot of people laughed at that. They think it's like a sexy appointment, but he plays attacking football. And, it's not like when they got Nuno Espirito Santo, who's like this pragmatist. It will be an exciting thing for the players to think, right, this guy's going to knock it about. It wants us to knock the ball around a lot, score a lot of goals. So, yeah, whether that could tempt him or whether he'd say, Levy, I want to leave and go to Chelsea. As revealed by Telegraph Sport, Kane is currently building a new home on the Wentworth estate, which is a very short drive from Chelsea's Cobham training ground. Ooh, there is virtually no prospect of Tottenham agreeing to sell Kane to Chelsea this summer. Also, I think his home won't be ready yet, so it's almost like his home will be ready by the time his contract expires, if he runs it down. Asked if he would like to work to sign Kane for Chelsea, Pochettino responded, "Oh my God." And then he says, "I don't like to talk about other players in another club, but you are talking about one of the greatest, one of the best strikers in the world. It's not fair to talk, not fair to say anything." People are not stupid. Fans are not stupid. They are so clever, and they know my relationship with him was always amazing. I saw him when he was young, grow up and achieve all he was achieving, and, of course, we have a great relationship. You moulded him into this special striker, Pochettino. You've got Nicholas Jackson and Armando Bria. If you do it with one of those, I'll be very happy, mate. At the moment, we are thinking in different ways. We are not thinking about that. I don't like to talk about players and more than that, players that were close to me. Pochettino also refused to confirm whether Tottenham chairman David Levy made any contact with him over succeeding Antonio Conte. Yeah, he was very reluctant to talk about that as well. I don't want to say anything about Tottenham, I think he says we've got a very good relationship with the Tottenham people, with Daniel and the Tottenham people. And I think that's probably true. I think Daniel Levy recognises what he did for the club, because that new stadium, you know, the sort of top 4 European Champions League team, regular, that was Pochettino. And even if things went bad in the end and they canned him, he has to recognise what he did for his club. So I don't think he's going to ever feel like, you know, any ill towards Pochettino. I think there's no point. We need to look forwards. I'm going to say yes or no, and basically he's trying to push it away. I feel very proud about the past, and I'm so happy. You never know in football what can happen in the future. Maybe you'll sign Harry Kane for Chelsea, Poch. I'm here. I'm really happy to be here at Chelsea now, and I need to give my best and hope that all together can create, again, an atmosphere for excitement. That was, and lift trophies, that's our objective. I think Chelsea are going to sign a striker. Fabrizio Romano has spoken about Chelsea are working hard on offensive players after they hopefully can complete the Moises Caicedo deal, which is incredibly exciting. Would Pochettino want to work with Harry Kane at Chelsea? Absolutely. Like I said yesterday's presser analysis, one thing that Pochettino really wanted to assert was he's been given the tools to win at Chelsea. And he compared it to Pep Guardiola at Man City, which is really, really sensational statements, really. Yes, he did amazing work at Tottenham, despite him saying he's a much better, by far, he said, manager now than he was back then. Look at what he did to Eriksen, Dele Alli, Harry Kane, of course, Vertonghen and Alderweireld, all 4 fullbacks. They all, Moussa Dembele, they were all excellent under him. But none of them are Galacticos. I mean, some became Galacticos. Under Pochettino, you could say Kane, Kyle Walker, who's done alright at Man City, and a few others as well. And that's down to Pochettino. But he was never given like these transfer opportunities that Chelsea are giving him. They're selling all these players that Tottenham would have loved to have on their squad. Chelsea are selling them for not much money to buy, his countryman, World Cup winner, and young player of the tournament, Enzo Fernandez. They know we've got excellent young centre-backs in Badiashile, Fofana, Levi Colwill. We've got world-class full-backs in Reece James and Ben Chilwell. We've got backups that are really high quality for them there as well. But, he'd turn a Malo Gusto into probably a Kyle Walker. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of the level we're talking about in terms of developmental coaching. So no wonder he's happy, and he'll feel that with this backing, he can do his best work as a developed coach now, as a coach that sort of evolved. To be honest, if he could get on the phone to Harry Kane, he would say that to him. He'd be like, yeah, look, we did well at Tottenham, didn't we? Well, I'm better now. And you know what else? These guys are giving me what I need to win. Though Harry Kane, we are still a bit of a project now, and Harry Kane's getting on. Does he want to join that? Or does he want to join a Bayern Munich where he can win a bunch of trophies? Just get some trophies. I know you could say Bayern in the Bundesliga. It doesn't matter. You still have a trophy cabinet and some medals to put up in your house somewhere. Probably a lot very quickly. And then also a chance to win the Champions League. You win the Champions League, doesn't matter what club you play for, you've won the Champions League. Bayern have won a few, haven't they? So, they won the treble 2 or 3 years ago. And Tuchel himself, the manager of Bayern, just recently won the Champions League of a little club called Chelsea Football Club. Anyway, what do you think? Comment down below. I'll be very interested in learning your thoughts, feelings, and opinions, my sweet, sweet friends. So please do comment. I look forward to reading those. Thank you for joining me. Consider dropping a like and subscribing to this channel, Football Therapy. And hopefully this format was okay for you. I'll see you very soon. Peace.